Hello guys, it's your girl here again, yet with another video. So today's video is a bit different. It's educative, it's enlightening. As you can see by the title, we are going to be talking about taxes. So taxes is one of the hot topics in our country right now. Everyone is just in uproar because they're saying KRA is harassing them, the government is trying to rob them. But I guess the government and KRA in itself have not done enough of basic education to its citizens to enlighten them or to let them know how taxation works. That's why most people are in uproar right now. But taxation is something that has always been there, because I remember back even in primary school or some high school business studies, we learned that taxation or taxes is the main source of funds for the government. So the government does not go to work, its citizens go to work, and then at the end of it, some of the money that you earn is what is remitted to the government for them now again to do the projects that are required. That is how it works. So in our country, there are so many types of taxes. We'd take so much time if we are to talk about all of them. But in this video, I just want to focus on a few, the ones that affect us or affect most of the citizens. So that is income tax, VAT, and withholding tax, which again goes back and forms part of the income tax and VAT, as I will explain. So for income tax, we have different types of taxes. We have the pay as you earn. This is for people who are in employment. Your employer is supposed to deduct some amount from your salary and remit to KRA at the end of the month. So as it's self-explanatory, you pay as you earn. So there's a percentage or there's a graduated scale that KRA uses to determine how much is paid. Currently, it's for anyone who is earning above 24,000 per month. Those are the ones that are eligible to be deducted pay as you earn. But you also find for people who are in business and now as individuals, those are the people who register business names, you're supposed to pay it, but now for you, you will not pay at the end of the month. That will have to wait until the end of the year. You compile your accounts and then you pay your pay as you earn. So it's going to be calculated on the same scale or schedule as for those people who are deducted at the end of the month, but this time it's going to be done cumulative on your profit, what you have earned from your business. So that is it for the pay as you earn. So again, on the income tax, we have the rental income. So this is for landlords, those people who have buildings, either for residence or commercial. To some extent, you're supposed to remit monthly income, monthly rent income. So that is usually at 10% of your total collections. So if your land collections in a month is, let's say, 100,000, so you're supposed to pay 10,000 of that amount to KRA. For those landlords or those premises that have a huge turnover, but that would go to above 50 million, you do not have to pay monthly. You can apply and have your accounts done annually and now pay it as an annual income tax instead of doing the monthly debt. But not most of the landlords fall under that threshold of doing the tax monthly. Basically, we call it MRI, monthly rent income. So the other thing is corporation tax. So this is for registered companies. So you compile your accounts at the end of the year. You will take your annual turnover, or that is the gross sales, and then you're going to deduct your expenses. Whatever is left as your profit, you pay 30% of that amount to the government. that is the current rate. 30% of your profit is what goes to the government as corporation tax. So those are a bit self-explanatory, or they are basics that you can understand as I have said them. So one thing that has been confusing people is withholding tax, how it works. And I think I have been receiving quite a number of questions from several people who know that I work as a tax consultant. Withholding tax is, it's basically as it is, it's some amount of money that is withheld. So who withholds this money? It's withheld by corporations or other businesses. Let's say, for example, as a tax consultant, I do some work for a certain organization or individual. While you're paying the fee, you're supposed to withhold some amount. Let's say it's actually at 5%. 5% of that amount and remit it to KRA, and then you're going to pay me the rest of the amount. So the withholding tax forms part of my income tax, or if you withhold some VAT amount, it forms part of my VAT amount that I am going to pay. So when I am coming to file my final taxes, I will pay less the amount that was withheld. I can give maybe just a simple example for people to get a picture. Let's say I am selling dresses. I go to Isili or whichever other place. I get a dress at 1,000 shillings. So this dress, mwenye aliniuzia, or the seller that sells to me, has charged me 16%. So that is going to be 160 shillings out of the 1,000 VAT. On my side, when I am reselling the dress to you, I sell it at 1,500. So my 16% in that amount is going to be 240 shillings. So while I am doing my calculations and the amount of VAT that I will pay to KRA, I'll take the 240 that I charged the person I sold to, and less the 160 that I was charged while I was buying the dress. That means I'm going to pay just 80 shillings as VAT. So we can say the consumer is the one who ultimately pays the VAT, or who carries that burden for the VAT. I hope you understand. The other case example, if the withholding is for income tax, we are going to take an example now, maybe let's say 100,000. So assuming I do some consultancy for a business or an individual, and well, in this case, let's say I charge them 100,000, and assuming VAT is not included, for you to understand, I charge them 100,000. They're going to withhold 5%, which is 5,000, and remit to KRA. They will pay me 95,000. Come at the end of the year, I am supposed to do my accounts, like prepare my books of accounts, the profit and loss, the balance sheet, and everything, and get some profit out of it. So assuming I made a sale of 100,000, so that is what I sold, but I was paid 95 because some amount was already remitted. So I'm going to take 100,000 as my gross sales, and assuming my expenses comes to, let's say, 60,000. So that means my profit is going to be at 40,000. If you to do 30% of 40,000, that is what I am supposed to remit to KRA. But now remember, 5% was already remitted, so I am not going to pay the whole amount. I am going to pay less the 5% because that is already paid. It was deducted and paid. I hope you all following. Yeah, so that is how withholding tax works. Some amount is going to be withheld, but it forms a part of the tax that you're supposed to pay, whether it is in the VAT, either it is in the income tax. That money is still part of what you're expected to pay. In a case example where you make a loss and you had already been deducted the withholding, the amount is not going to get lost. It's going to remain in the system. like now in your PIN as a credit. That means the next time that you do business, or the following year you do business and you make a profit, that amount is going to be there to cover whatever it is that you are supposed to pay to some extent. I hope you understand and that is clear. So there it is. It's just a shallow, just a touch up of taxes. And now the things that I have mentioned are those that affect most people. The other taxes like excise duties, customs, advance tax, those might be a bit complicated, and there are things that don't occur often or not with most people. Some are when you're doing export or import, buying vehicles and everything. But I have touched on the few that affect most of us or most of the population. So now, something else that I don't know if you people are aware is that the government has given a tax amnesty on all penalties and interest accrued until the 31st of December. The penalties and interest accrue when you make your returns late. Let's say for payee is supposed to be remitted, the return should be done and the amount remitted by the 9th of each month. So if an employer fails, they get penalized 10,000, and if they do not pay on time, the amount attracts an interest of 1% per month. For income tax for corporations or individuals who are in business, the individuals, you just get a penalty of 2,000 if you don't file, or if you file late actually, and you also get charged an interest of 1% per month if you do not. So the government has given an amnesty, that is basically like your debts are forgiven, but it is until the 31st of December 2022. So those that had been accrued the previous periods until then, that is what has been forgiven. So it is only for the penalties and interest. Principal tax, if you have any, you have to pay that amount before you can enjoy the amnesty. You pay the principal tax and then the others will be forgiven. If you do not have a principal tax, your penalties and interest, those ones are going to be forgiven, and that one is going to be done automatically. It's something that is happening. It was from this year and until the end of June next year 2024. It's something that is on a rolling basis and it will happen like that. But those that have their principal taxes, they're supposed to pay, or now those ones are the ones who are supposed to make a formal application and pay that amount that is due before now the interest and penalties are forgiven. So if your amount is huge and you cannot pay it off in one installment, you have an opportunity to apply for a payment plan and pay the principal tax in months or in a way that you are comfortable, and after you are done, now that is when the others that are going to be taken off your PIN. So this is a good opportunity if you have never filed your returns to do it now, so that you're going to enjoy that amnesty. It's not something that comes often. I know most people keep on asking about waivers, and you find that waivers are never approved, or it's a tedious process following up and everything. But right now that the government has announced that amnesty, I guess people should just take advantage of that and clear up all those debts, because basically the debts are getting forgiven. So that's much it for today's video. If you have any question or you would like further clarification, I'm going to leave my number on the description below. If you need an accountant, I know there are so many business people right now who are stressed. They do not know what they're supposed to be doing with KRA on their neck. If you need an accountant on a part-time basis, I can be available to do bookkeeping and to advise you you on the things or the records that you're supposed to keep for the tax man, because this time, as you're calling him Zakayo, he's not joking. He's coming for everyone and all those people that were used to evading taxes. Sorry, that is what has been happening, and I guess that is why people are in uproar. But the reason is there's not so much new that has been added, but the few that never used to pay taxes, but now right now they are being pressed to do it, now they see as if they are being robbed. But that is the order of the day. That is how things are supposed to be done. Please don't shoot the messenger. I am just trying to enlighten you people. So in case you need advice on taxation, how you suppose, the kind of records that you're supposed to keep, please do not hesitate to reach out. I'm going to leave my number on the description below, and I hope we can work together on this. So until next time, see ya.